The Amarr trace their origins back to settlers on the planet of Athra, led by a prophet known as Ganok I. These settlers were driven from the continent of Asimia following the collapse of the Eve Gate, an ancient wormhole that once connected their world to others. After being displaced, they eventually settled on an island called Amarr. For centuries, the people of Amarr lived in isolation, with warlords waging bloody conflicts and the church struggling to keep the faith alive. From these, warlords emerged Amashakura, who became the first emperor by unifying the island through both military might and religious teachings. He founded the Amarr Empire, establishing a code of laws, creating the noble class of holders, and forming the Council of Apostles to govern the religious aspects of the empire. For nearly 4,000 years, the Amarr remained isolated on their island until foreign ships from the Eudorian people arrived. The Eudorians brought new ideals that threatened the Amarr way of life. In response, the emperor ordered their enslavement and declared the beginning of the Reclaiming, a holy war intended to incorporate the entire world into the empire. The Amarr, alongside the Khanid, a nomadic people who had converted to their faith, eventually conquered the Eudorian states and other continents on Athra. Celebrating their conquest, the Amarr renamed the planet after themselves. Under the rule of the holders, the empire's wealthy elite, millions of slaves toiled in harsh conditions. Despite the brutal reality of their enslavement, the Amarr promised them the possibility of spiritual salvation. With the wealth and resources gained from their conquests, the Amarr invested heavily in science, art, and philosophy. This period of cultural and technological advancement eventually enabled them to spread beyond their planet. They colonized the ocean world of Tamiroth and reverse-engineered ancient Stargate technology, which allowed them to traverse vast distances in space. This technological breakthrough led to rapid expansion across their local cluster. However, the empire's expansion also brought internal conflicts, including the re-emergence of the Sani Sabak, a blood-worshipping cult, and the rule of Emperor Zeragram Roman II, who declared himself the living embodiment of God. These internal struggles were eventually quelled by the Council of Apostles, but not without leaving a lasting impact on the empire's stability. The rediscovery of Stargate technology allowed the Amarr to expand further into space, but it also weakened their control over distant territories. This period of expansion brought the Amarr into contact with other human populations, such as the Elar system, where they discovered primitive humans. The Amarr enslaved these people, adding them to their ever-growing labor force. The revelation that they were not alone in the universe spurred a frenzy of expansion, with the Amarr constructing new star gates in search of more slaves. This expansion yielded only a few small populations, but it reignited the empire's thirst for dominance. During this time, Emperor Hydarin V initiated the moral reforms, which aimed to consolidate power with the emperor and rewrite the scriptures to make him the undisputed political and religious ruler of the empire. These reforms led to a bloody civil war, ultimately establishing the heir families and the Privy Council as key governing bodies. The Amarr also discovered the Naikani, a people living on a harsh, arid world, who viewed the Amarr as saviors rather than conquerors. The Naikani were swiftly integrated into the empire, escaping slavery faster than most other bloodlines. The Amarr's encounter with the Minmatar, a technologically inferior spacefaring race, marked another significant chapter in their history. Emperor Damius Roman II ordered the full conquest of the Minmatar, leading to the brutal destruction of their defenses and infrastructure. Hundreds of millions of Minmatar were enslaved, but some managed to escape and form a resistance that continued to challenge the empire. The development of the jump drive revolutionized the Amarr's ability to move large ships instantly between star systems, accelerating their expansion. This technological advancement brought them into contact with other major nations, such as the Gallant Federation and the Kaldari state. The Amarr initially viewed the Jove, a reclusive and advanced civilization, as a potential target for conquest. However, their attempt to invade the Jove system of Vakatiath resulted in a devastating massacre, as the Jove's superior technology and tactics decimated the Amarr fleet. Following this defeat, the Amarr faced a mass rebellion from slaves across the empire. Backed by Minmatar freedom fighters, Gallant sympathizers, and Jove agents, the rebels made swift gains, forcing the Amarr to abandon large territories. The rebellion led to the formation of the Minmatar Republic, marking a significant loss for the empire. After the death of Emperor Hydaran Roman VII, Dorium Khorazar won the succession trials and ascended to the throne. However, his reign was cut short when he was assassinated. Court Chamberlain Dachuta Karsoth assumed power, but he was secretly aligned with the Sani Sabic cult. A fleet of rogue Minmatar, led by legendary elders, invaded the empire, freeing slaves and deploying Insorum, an antidote to the Vidok drug used to control slaves. In the empire's moment of darkness, Jamal Sarum miraculously returned from death and led a counterattack with a mysterious superweapon, reclaiming her throne as Empress Jamal I. Under Jamal I's reign, the empire regained much of its former glory. She freed millions of Minmatar slaves, captured and executed Karsoth, and initiated the creation of cloned soldiers. The Amarr Empire is governed as a feudal theocratic monarchy, with the emperor as the supreme religious and political leader. The emperor is supported by 5 royal heirs, who govern vassal kingdoms, and the Privy Council, which serves as the main governing body. Amarr culture is deeply religious and guided by the scriptures, a vast collection of holy texts that dictate all aspects of life. The true Amarr, descendants of the original settlers of Amarr Island, are considered God's chosen people and hold the highest status in society. Art and culture are heavily influenced by religious themes, with traditional religious art dominating the cultural landscape. The society is highly stratified, with true Amarr at the top, followed by holders, the nobility, commoners, and slaves. Slavery is integral to the empire, with slaves occupying various professions and roles. The true Amarr are the dominant bloodline, deeply faithful and seen as spiritually superior. The Khanid, a loyal and fierce bloodline, serve as close allies to the true Amarr. The Naikani, once enslaved, have become influential in business and trade. Other bloodlines, such as the Minmatar, Elar, and Eudorians, face varying degrees of discrimination and are often still enslaved. Notable characters within the empire include Empress Jamal I, whose miraculous return and rise to power involve cloning, and a foreign intelligence known as the Other. Aritzio Khorazar, once a capricious and sadistic tyrant, underwent severe punishment and reformed, now serving as the imperial chancellor. Yanis Ardashapur, a conservative and religious heir, opposes the empress and focuses on public works and strict adherence to the scriptures. Katiz Tashmerkan, the richest woman in the empire, is influential in the economy and has brokered key alliances. Uriam Kador, once a respected philosopher and poet, has fallen out of favor due to military missteps. Mer-Imath Saram, a young and ambitious heir, has deep connections to the intelligence community and pushes for the reclaiming. In the Amarr Empire, a person's social status is largely determined at birth. Children of holders enjoy privilege and top-tier education, while commoners have limited opportunities and typically follow family trades. Slave children face hard lives with minimal education, although some may show potential for advancement. Religion permeates all aspects of life, reinforcing the hierarchy and loyalty to the empire. The Amarr cultural landscape is dominated by religious art and traditions, with subversive artistic movements periodically emerging, but often being quelled by the weight of tradition. The empire is organized into a complex hierarchy. The emperor, as both sovereign and religious leader, holds absolute authority in theory, but must navigate a web of rival factions and political intrigue. The 5 royal heirs govern their respective vassal kingdoms, each with their own laws and customs. The Privy Council, composed of the emperor, the heirs, and other high-ranking officials, serves as the primary governing body, although it is often divided by competing interests. The holders, the nobility of the empire, rule over various territories, including planets, moons, space stations, and colonies. They possess significant power and influence, often engaging in political maneuvering and rivalry. The empire also has 2 main courts: the Theology Council, which deals with religious crimes and oversees the enforcement of the scriptures, and the Civic Court, which handles secular matters. The imperial bureaucracy is managed by several ministries, each with its own specific functions. The Amarr civil service handles mundane acts of governance, such as issuing permits and maintaining public utilities. The Amarr Trade Registry oversees the empire's finances and commercial transactions. The Ministry of Assessment manages natural resources and exploration. The Ministry of Internal Order functions as the primary intelligence and police force, working alongside the Theology Council to root out heresy and maintain peace. The Ministry of War oversees the empire's armed forces, including the Imperial Navy. Religion plays a central role in Amarr society, with the scriptures guiding every aspect of life. The Amarr believe they are the chosen people of God, tasked with spreading their faith and ruling the universe. This belief system creates a rigid social hierarchy, with the true Amarr at the top, followed by other bloodlines, commoners, and this belief system creates a rigid social hierarchy, with the true Amarr at the top, followed by other bloodlines, commoners, and slaves at the bottom. Discrimination is a fact of life in the empire, and those born outside the true Amarr lineage can never fully attain the same level of status or respect, no matter their achievements or faith. The holders, who form the nobility, wield significant power and influence. They own large estates and control vast numbers of slaves. Holders have the authority to create and enforce laws within their domains, collect taxes, regulate trade, and act as judges. While some holders rule with fairness and temperance, others are tyrannical and exploitative. Commoners, who do not possess the divine right to rule, are considered free in the eyes of the law, but face limited opportunities for advancement. They typically follow in the footsteps of their parents, taking on trades and professions that are often labor-intensive and less prestigious. Wealthy commoners may become merchants or earn esteem as war heroes, but they rarely gain true respect or admiration from the nobility, slaves occupy the lowest rung of Amarr society. They perform a wide range of tasks, from unskilled labor in fields and mining colonies to more specialized roles such as scientists, academics, accountants, and military specialists. Some slaves are even trained to fill clerical positions within the civil service and the church. Despite their diverse occupations, slaves are constantly reminded of their status and are subject to the whims of their masters, who can buy and sell them at any time. Growing up in the Amarr Empire, a person's future is largely determined by their birth. Children of holders receive the best education and are groomed to take on leadership roles, while commoners receive a more modest education and must navigate a world with fewer opportunities. Slave children face hard lives, but the most intelligent and talented among them may be selected for advanced education or trained for specialized roles. All children in the empire, regardless of their status, are indoctrinated into the Amarr faith and taught to revere the emperor and the scriptures. The Amarr Empire's political structure is a complex web of power and influence. The emperor is the supreme authority, but his rule is not absolute. He must balance the interests of various factions, including the royal heirs, the Privy Council, and the holders, to maintain stability and prevent rebellion. The Privy Council, which includes the emperor, the heirs, and other high-ranking officials, serves as the primary governing body and is often a battleground for political maneuvering. The empire is also governed by two main courts: the Theology Council, which deals with religious crimes and enforces the scriptures, and the Civic Court, which handles secular matters. The Theology Council holds significant power and influence, as religious crimes carry severe penalties, and the council's decisions can override those of other courts. The Civic Court, on the other hand, deals primarily with commoners and less serious offenses. The imperial bureaucracy is managed by several ministries, each with its own specific functions. The Amarr Civil Service is responsible for issuing permits, maintaining public utilities, and overseeing government infrastructure. The Amarr Trade Registry monitors commercial transactions, collects taxes, and manages the empire's finances. The Ministry of Assessment oversees natural resources and exploration, while the Ministry of Internal Order functions as the primary intelligence and police force, working alongside the Theology Council to root out heresy and maintain order. The Ministry of War oversees the empire's armed forces, including the powerful imperial navy. Religion is deeply ingrained in Amarr society, with the scriptures guiding every aspect of life. The Amarr believe they are the chosen people of God, tasked with spreading their faith and ruling the universe in his name. This belief system justifies their expansionist policies and the enslavement of other races, who are seen as spiritually inferior and in need of salvation. The true Amarr, as the descendants of the original settlers of Amarr Island, hold the highest status in society. They are considered paragons of piety and virtue, and their bloodline is seen as pure and untainted by the sins of other races. Other bloodlines, such as the Khanid and the Naikani, have been integrated into Amarr society, but are still viewed as inferior to the true Amarr. The Minmatar, Elar, and Eudorians face even greater discrimination and are often relegated to the lowest positions in society, with many still living as slaves. Art and culture in the Amarr Empire are heavily influenced by religion. Traditional religious art, such as sculptures and paintings depicting scriptural figures, dominates the cultural landscape. Literature, theater, and other forms of artistic expression are also deeply rooted in religious themes, with an emphasis on reaffirming the truths recorded in the scriptures. Subversive artistic movements occasionally emerge, challenging the established norms and traditions, but they are often quelled by the weight of millennia-old traditions and the rigid cultural inertia of the empire. The Amarr Empire's expansionist policies have led to conflicts with other spacefaring nations. Their encounter with the technologically advanced Jove resulted in a disastrous defeat, but the empire continues to seek new territories and resources. The Amarr's aggressive expansion has also brought them into conflict with the Gallant Federation, the Kaldari state, and the Minmatar Republic. These tensions have led to a complex web of alliances, truces, and ongoing hostilities. Despite the empire's rigid social hierarchy and authoritarian rule, there are notable individuals who have shaped its history. Empress Jamil I, who miraculously returned from death, is a central figure in the empire's recent history. Her rise to power involves cloning, a grave sin for one of royal blood, and a foreign intelligence known as the Other that torments her mind. Aritzio Khorazar, once a capricious and sadistic tyrant, underwent severe punishment and reformed, now serving as the imperial chancellor. Yanis Ardashapur, a conservative and religious heir, opposes the empress and focuses on public works and strict adherence to the scriptures. Katiz Tashmerkan, the richest woman in the empire, is influential in the economy and has brokered key alliances. Uriam Kador, once a respected philosopher and poet, has fallen out of favor due to military missteps. Merimuth Sarum, a young and ambitious heir, has deep connections to the intelligence community and pushes for the reclaiming. In summary, the Amarr Empire is a vast and complex society, deeply rooted in religious traditions and driven by a belief in their divine mission. The empire's history is marked by conquest, expansion, and internal strife, with a rigid social hierarchy that places the true Amarr at the top and slaves at the bottom. Despite their dominance, the Amarr face ongoing challenges from both internal and external forces as they seek to maintain their position as the preeminent power in New Eden.